This one's kind of pointed. Says, I keep seeing the gun industry bringing on board guys with big social media followings. Is that the only credentials that I need to get into the gun industry to support me? And if so, where do I sign up for that?
Arguably, yes.
I mean,
So I see what they're talking about. I mean, if they're talking about the industrial complex, yeah, the industrial complex has to sell items.
Brand awareness, yeah.
So if you have to sell items, you would obviously want to have people associated with those items.
can't blame them.
who have lots of people that follow them. I think the question begs to be differentiated between, okay, are you asking about working in the gun industry to be able to sell a product, or are you asking about working in the tactical training industry, which produces a skill set for students? Because those are different. Now, they're different, but they're married. We all know that as you progress as an instructor or you gain a larger following of students, you become more popular. Socially, in the social media world, you become more popular as well. You become more marketable. You guys get approached by different organizations, different manufacturers that want to promote you. So,
I mean, that should just come down to them doing their homework, who they want to be associated with, and what
right. And
who they're associated with, what they're putting out.
Yeah.
And are you selling your soul?
Yeah.
Well, right. But then it comes down.
People are
Then it
figuring
comes
that
down
out,
to the
though.
instructor.
They do. I think
You
people
know,
see
people
through
are
it.
seeing
I think
through
people
it,
see
yeah.
through it.
You know, it's like the gun bunny thing. Like, you know, people love to beat up on that, but it's like, who's not recognizing them for what they are? Like, they might get paid for product placement, but no one's running out to buy that product. They're just looking at it because it's some, you know, chick in a bikini, basically. You know, so when you're standing in line at Chipotle ordering a burrito, you're like, oh, this is pretty cool to look at. But I think, you know, the smart companies are figuring out that that hurts their brand. There's a lot of, you know, emerging companies that are just desperate to gain awareness. So they'll go to anyone, even if it's a highly questionable individual that's lied their way.
Goes back to the question, like,
Right.
how many followers does this guy have?
How
So
many
he-
followers does it take
so
to get
someone
into
has-
that
How many
position?
followers does it make lies irrelevant? You know,
Right.
kind of
Right.
a thing.
Yes.
Well, and you also have to look at, is that controversial person? Is that the person that industry is looking for in order to just have followers? You know, because controversy creates probably more following than steadfast knowledge.
A lot of times, yeah.
Arguably, that can be true.
Yeah.
And so if you're and I'm sure it's whatever the marketing base is for the company that you want to that's one.
Yeah, if you're selling to the gear.
You were gonna say it.
yeah.
Wait, hold on. If I don't say it, am I not acknowledging them?
Right.
You know,
So
if
I'm
you're
not
marketing to
getting-
the gear queers,
Yeah.
like, and you understand what levers you need to switch and pull so that they respond, all right, cool. That's just marketing. But if you're in the business of trafficking the transfer of knowledge, so like gunfighting,
Right.
whatever that means now, gunfighting against cardboard targets.
You know,
That's where the lines are like
Sending paper souls to
I
heaven.
think that's our responsibility, and we're doing it right here, right now.
Right.
Is, you know, you beat up on the gear queers. And it's a, you know,
It's a horrible.
it's a whatever the
horrible
word you want to
description of
use,
that. Right,
because but they don't
Right.
know.
Yeah.
So we call them gear queers, but they only see what they're seeing
Yeah.
on social media, what they're seeing on the ads, what they're seeing in the magazines. So it's our responsibility to be like doing what we're doing now.
Yeah.
Get out the real shit. Here's what really works. And you don't need to be a gear queer.
I'm a recovering gear queer. I'm in a 12-step program.
and then you went out and found out what actually worked.
Then I went out and got shot at, and I realized
And there's different market niches. So the people that we look at are like the gear hounds. They got to have all that stuff. They got to get the newest stuff. They got to do that. That's actually a market. It's a bona fide market.
that's a huge
And there's companies that make a lot of money.
There's nothing wrong with getting the latest and greatest stuff.
Sure.
As long as it works.
Right.
You know.
They're a market. The serious tactical shooter is a market. The competitive shooter is a market.
I'll tell you,
They're all markets. Now, do we cross blend? Of course we do.
Yeah.
And do manufacturers try to try to manipulate that and emphasize on that and get their product placed in the correct places to maximize all those markets? Absolutely they do. But I think you're right, and I think we know that the true user, or the user at least the level that we train at, can differentiate that. They're smart. They're smart. They're a smart buyer. They're a smart consumer. They know and can differentiate between what's just for market value and what's for actual tactical value or practical value. I mean, I would think.
Yeah, and I think that, like with social media, because this is where a lot of it comes from, is we see that it can be hard if you don't have a frame of reference to judge what is the right thing. So like, I don't know anything about golf. But if I were to go out and start...
How do you go with golf? Huh?
Yeah.
I'm a golfer, by the way.
Well, you could teach me something. But if I didn't know anything about golf and I signed up for classes, I'd look for the guy that looks what I perceive to be... Yeah, the golf part.
Yeah, right.
And I'd be like, okay, this is it. And that would frame my experience until, I gather enough knowledge to realize, oh,
Or if you went
maybe
to
it's a little
the-
different. Maybe I got shot at on a golf course. No, I'm just kidding.
or if you went to the wrong instructor,
Yeah.
you had nothing, you had no clue how to play golf.
Yeah.
And he was like, you need this, 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 and this.
You wouldn't know whether that was
Right,
right
you
or
wouldn't
wrong.
know.
I wouldn't
Right.
know
So right,
That's exactly right.
Exactly.
Nah,
And then
that's
and for the
perfect example.
just going back to golf situation, do your homework on that guy. What does he shoot? You know, does he shoot in the 60s every time he goes plays? If he doesn't,
Does he have a pro card?
He's right.
Does-
then he's probably full of
Got
shit.
the funny clothes.
So
that's the
same
only
thing with
I-
like the shooting
Does he wear a
instruction.
white belt?
Yeah.
Do your homework, you know.